In the next few videos, I want to talk about a few graphs that are a little less common than the frequency distribution and histogram that we've seen in class. To produce these graphs, I'm going to use this data set. So I have two printouts here of weather in July and August of 2021 from Greensboro, North Carolina. The data is collected from Piedmont Triad International Airport. You'll see links to these data sets or these weather maps in the description and in our Moodle course. I've also linked where I've typed the data in to Google Sheets as a summary. To start off, I want to talk about the dot plot. And I'm going to use a dot plot to talk about the temperatures, the actual high temperatures each day from July 1 and ending on August 11th, because that was the last officially reported day when I first pulled the data, even though as you go to this now, you'll see that being a little bit later, I could have included more data, but I've stopped at August 11th. A dot plot is a convenient way to summarize data, and one of the cool things about the dot plot is that we actually end up with the actual data being displayed. Whoever is reading it could actually recreate the original data set. So the idea behind a dot plot is that you take a number line and we put tick marks on the number line that will represent the temperatures, and every time one of the temperatures occurs in the data set, we put a dot over that number. So our number line needs to start at the minimum value and needs to go up to and including the maximum value. Because I have the data already in a spreadsheet, I've already used the spreadsheet to tell me that the minimum value is 78. And the maximum value I should end at is 95, but I'll count up to it. Now, to find the minimum, we could just read down the list and find the 78 and make sure it's the lowest thing. And then we could also go through and find the 95 and make sure it's actually the highest thing. I cheated a little bit and used technology to help me out. So I'm going to count from 78 to 95, and then we'll go through and construct the dot plot. Using a computer to do this, will make it more legible. Make sure that we're spacing these equally. All right, for the dot plot to fairly depict the data, right, these should be evenly distributed tick marks, and I'm just going to do my best here on this little whiteboard. And I just need a little more line segment. All right, so now our job is to simply go through the data, and everywhere we have a temperature, we put a dot over the right mark. For the dot plot to work, we have to put our first dots all at the same height and our second dots all at the same height so that we can view it kind of in the same way we would a bar graph or a histogram, that the dots are really giving us a frequency total. And the height of each column gives us that information visually. So I'm just going to go through the list, and for the 87, I'll put a little dot right there. 80. And now I just have to go through and do that for every data point, hopefully not missing any, and counting all the right ones. This probably won't be the most interesting part of any of these videos, because now you just have to watch me go through and try to put these dots, equally spaced, so the first dots are all on the same height, second dots, third dots, so on and so on. And as I'm doing this, you can tell how someone could actually reconstruct the original data from the dot plot, but not in the correct order. Right? They could tell what days had they could tell what temperatures occurred, but not on what day they occurred. There's that low 78. All right, and we're coming to the end of our data set that had 42 temperatures in it. And I missed that 90, hit it out right there. Nope, I got it. All right, one thing we could do here is go through and count the number of dots. If I did this correctly, we should end up with 42 dots, but I have a nice visual representation of these temperatures that occurred between July and August in 2021. Anytime we have a graphical representation of data, we should label everything. So I should label this axis. This is temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit. And you should title graphs. These are temperatures from July and August of 2021 from Piedmont Triad International Airport. So that's how we construct a dot plot. Hopefully we can then use it to make a decision about what's going on in the data. And we can kind of see that in July and August, number one, it was warm. It was very hot. And there's a grouping, a cluster of temperatures here and then another one here. And if we kind of use the same logic we use when we analyze histograms, we might even think that there's a big clump of data over here and then the data kind of trails off. Maybe not as much as we'd like, but maybe this is just a little bit left skewed. But that's how you construct a dot plot and then how you can use one to interpret data almost in the same way you can a histogram.